It's Wednesday, January 30th. In what appears to be a bid to signal its commitment to the Ayodhya Ram Temple cause, under pressure from the RSS, months ahead of parliamentary elections, the Modi government on Tuesday moved a writ petition in the Supreme Court seeking permission to hand over excess land of 67 acres acquired around the disputed site in Ayodhya to its original owners, the Ram Janmabhoomi Nyas. The government said only 0.313 acres was disputed. The Ram Janmabhoomi Nyas is a trust which was formed to promote and oversee the construction of a Ram temple. The plea sought modification of the Supreme Court's March 2003 judgment. In 2003, the court had barred religious activity of any kind on 67.703 acres of land and directed that no part of the aforesaid land shall be handed over by the government to anyone, and the same shall be retained by the government till the disposal of this writ petition, nor shall any part of this land be permitted to be occupied or used for any religious purpose or in connection therewith. On Monday, the Law Minister had remarked that the Supreme Court must take an expeditious decision in the title suit appeal of the Allahabad High Court judgment pending in the Apex Court. In its 2010 judgment, the Allahabad High Court had ordered that the land be divided equally among three parties: the Sunni Waqf Board, the Nirmohi Akhada, and Ram Lalla. This photograph of a George Fernandes in shackles, raising his clenched left fist in defiance, is one of the most iconic images of the emergency. Fernandes, 88, who stood tall among the pantheon of trade unionists and socialist leaders, variously described by admirers as firebrand, tireless, charismatic, a rebel without a pause, died on Tuesday. An ailing Fernandes had been living away from the public eye for over a decade. Born in 1930 in Mangalore, George Fernandes would have gone on to become a priest, but he left the seminary where he was sent to be trained and moved to Bombay. He was only a teenager then. It is here that Fernandes, inspired by the socialist stalwarts at the time, got involved in the trade union movement. His work, organizing taxi drivers, mill workers, and railway employees, is legendary. Fernandes was a name to reckon with in the heydays of trade unionism in Bombay. Fernandes was catapulted to national prominence as George the Giant Killer when in 1967 he defeated the mighty Congress stalwart S.K. Patil in the Bombay South parliamentary seat. He would go on to win 8 parliamentary elections. But it was during the Indira Gandhi-imposed emergency between 1975 and 1977 that Fernandes' stature rose. The year before emergency was imposed came the historic 1974 railway strike. As pay scales of employees of other public sector entities rose, railway employees' pay remained stagnant. There was also rising anger over harsh working conditions and long working hours. George Fernandes, as head of the All India Railwaymen's Federation, rallied the rank and file. The strike, described by many as the biggest working class revolt, brought the country to a standstill. In a bid to break the resolve of those striking, the government jailed thousands of employees. Many others lost their jobs. George Fernandes, a staunch opponent of the emergency who campaigned for opposition leader Jayaprakash Narayan, had managed to evade arrest, having traversed the country in disguise. He was finally arrested in 1976. It is here that we can provide context to this iconic image. The case against Fernandes was referred to as the Baroda Dynamite Conspiracy. The accused were charged with smuggling dynamite to blow up government establishments and railway tracks. Journalist and author Kumi Kapoor writes in The Emergency, A Personal History, Fernandes and his fellow accused came handcuffed and in chains, accompanied by a dozen policemen armed with Sten guns. The trial became a cause célèbre. Foreign correspondents from all over the world flew down to cover it. While in jail, Fernandes prepared his own arguments. At one point, he read out a moving 6-page petition in court, explaining why he had been forced to organize an underground resistance against what he called Gandhi's fascist regime. He demanded the restoration of fundamental rights and civil liberties. In a dramatic gesture, Fernandes held up his chained hands and declared, "The chains that we bear are symbols of the entire nation, which has been chained and fettered." Fernandes fought the 1977 election from jail. He had moved his political base to Bihar and won the Muzaffarpur seat by close to 4 lakh votes. Fernandes served as minister in the Morarji Desai, VP Singh and Vajpayee cabinets. Fernandes's fellow travellers found it hard to reconcile with his aligning with the BJP, his continuation in the NDA post the Godhra riots of 2002, and his defence of then Chief Minister Modi's handling of the riots. The 2001 Tehelka sting operation, in which then BJP President Bangaru Lakshman and Samata Party President Jaya Jaitley, a close aide of then Defence Minister George Fernandes, are purportedly seen accepting money from a fictitious company for facilitating a defence deal, led to Fernandes's resignation. The Justice K. Venkateswamy Tehelka Commission, appointed in 2001, did not complete its probe, and Justice Venkateswamy resigned before submitting his report. Justice Fukan, who was appointed in 2003 as chairman of the commission probing the Tehelka sting, gave Fernandes a clean chit. Today, the death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi is marked as National Leprosy Day in India. The centrally sponsored National Leprosy Eradication Program, with the help of the World Health Organization and other international bodies, managed to bring leprosy down from a prevalence rate of 57.8 per 10,000 in 1983 to 1 per 10,000 in December 2005. The over 50% reduction was celebrated, and leprosy was declared eliminated as a public health risk in 2005. Yet, 14 years on, as P. Narasimha Rao and Shayonnita argue in their paper, India continues to account for 60% of new cases reported globally each year. In the year 2007, new cases detected in India were 1,37,685. In 2016, the number remained almost the same at 1,35,485. In their 2017-18 summary, National Leprosy Eradication Program reported the prevalence rate of leprosy in 4 states and 2 union territories as more than 1, which is the decided elimination criteria. So, has leprosy made a return in India? Writing for India Spend, Ramesh Menon says, government officials deny an increase, saying their own efforts have led to improved detection. An increase in the number of cases detected does not mean incidence is increasing. However, India still lacks a reliable pan-India study or survey on the incidence of leprosy, and elimination was confused with eradication, says Menon, explaining that the threat of leprosy was prematurely considered over. The government machinery that worked for leprosy elimination slackened. Its personnel were transferred to other health departments, and frontline workers stopped household visits to identify undetected cases. In its report, several activists told India Spend that the government was allegedly resisting the documentation of new cases. A health ministry official also admitted to a shortage of funds. The Indian women's team have pretty much wrapped up the New Zealand ODI series, having taken an unbeatable 2-0 lead on Tuesday. And Smriti Mandhana continued her brilliant run in one-day internationals with an unbeaten 90 in the second match of the series. Now this will give you a sense of Smriti Mandhana's incredible form in ODIs since the start of 2018. You have a good day. We'll be back for our next innings tomorrow. Love your morning fix? Help support our journalism. Subscribe to Scroll Plus using the link in the description.